Letter. Memo. To Supreme Court of the United States, January 16, 2020. Please see attached. Petitioner requests consideration of filing fees and additional costs be addressed relative to appropriate forum. CC Solicitor General. I did post a version of this online prior to printing it and sending it. It was part of an effort to try to address beforehand whether or not there may be conflicts of interest and or there may be concurrent processes that were using acts of surveillance in order to attempt to code into my filing effort any illicit transactions. It was online for around 72 hours before I actually sent this. Supreme Court of the United States, Charities Colleen Krause versus respondent members of the United States Senate. Petition for articles of impeachment of the United States Senate. Petitioner Charity Colleen Krause pro se requests the Supreme Court of the United States engage proceedings for impeachment against members of the United States Senate for violation of Article 13 of the Constitution of the United States, insofar as property relations concerning access to intangible and tangible property of the citizens of the United States of America and the people of the United States of America has been made available through intentional fraud and deceit to aid the enemies of the United States of America. These acts were engaged without consent of or compensation to the persons from whom that property was expropriated or derived, and in denial of rights to due process and representation in governmental or other political efforts to organize for redress. S3076, approved unanimously by the United States Senate on January 6, 2020, and announced on the floor of the United States House of Representatives on January 7, 2020, makes available for auction property of citizens of the United States of America and the people of the United States of America put into public trust, through willful refusal to acknowledge the manners in which personal private property of citizens of the United States of America and the people of the United States of America has been expropriated for use by agents of the federal government, including in efforts to provide federal appropriations for public administrative departments. The United States Senate acknowledges with this bill that it intends to engage its own citizens in acts that violate Article 13, which says, Amendment 13. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. No charge has been provided and no trial has been engaged against the people of the United States of America. Rather, this act represents an intentional effort by the United States Senate to aid and abet other crimes through which access to the property of citizens of the United States of America and the people of the United States of America can be made available in adhering to their enemies. Insofar as citizens of the United States of America and the people of the United States of America are committed and beholden to the Constitution of the United States, an act in support of slavery or involuntary servitude, without recourse to exercise of rights to due process so as to defend oneself against allegations that such would be legally substantiated, is treason against the people of the United States of America as defined in Article 3, Section 3 of the Constitution of the United States. Jurisdiction for this consideration is the Supreme Court of the United States, per Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution of the United States, insofar as this effort by the United States Senate is in support of other efforts by the Chief Executive of the United States, the President of the United States, that privilege relations concerning ambassadors, other public ministers, and counsels over those of the people of the United States. Additionally, these acts by the United States Senate also support acts per executive order of the President of the United States that impact admiralty and maritime jurisdiction, as was reported by the petitioner, who is a citizen of the United States of America and of the people of the United States of America, to an appropriate law enforcement agency with federal jurisdiction and jurisdiction within the United States Armed Forces in March of 2019. Per the declaration on the record for activities as occurred in the United States House of Representatives on January 7, 2020, all members of the United States House of Representatives present for the announcement on that day are eligible as witnesses in consideration of this petition for articles of impeachment of the United States Senate. Charity Colleen Krause, pro se, address listed, dated January 12th, 2020, electronically, but printed and signed on January 16th, 2020, 12:35 p.m. So far as I recall, January 12th, 2020 was a Sunday. This was posted by that Monday and left online for the days until it was printed, and then it was mailed.